Hey, I'm Darren Carter. I'm here to interview Mr. Darnell White, the Director of Music from Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. I'm here to ask him a few questions. Mr. White, when did you first become interested in music?
Oh gosh, I've probably always been interested in music. I think most musicians are probably always drawn to music, tone, sound, beat, rhythm, all those sorts of things. So I was probably about 2, 3, when I first started maybe hearing sounds that were, just sort of meant something. And I was about 6 when I started actually studying music and studying the piano, about 6 or 7 years old. And took some private lessons and studied in church as well, like a lot of young people at that time, so 1,000 years ago.
Who were some of your early influences?
Musical influences?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, well, some of them probably folks you have never heard of. One would be Eubie Blake, who was a jazz pianist that I saw very young. He was probably he was in his 90s when I was a preteen. He had done a show on Broadway, a one-man show, and he was kind of someone that allowed you to really hear what it sounded like during, like, when Scott Joplin was playing in that sort of era of music. Rag is what they called it. And he was sort of really attached to that period of music, and so there was an authenticity when he played that was fascinating at a young age. Also, Oscar Peterson was the first concert I ever went to see, which was a birthday gift for someone else, but for some reason I got taken along. And it just so happened I was 9 years old for my 9th birthday. I saw Oscar Peterson in concert, so that was, seeing that was obviously, I was like, wow, And then the other, from a very young age, was probably a gentleman named Glenn Gould, who was fairly well known in the classical music era for popularizing, box music, which is really the foundation of Western music. He was really the pianist that is credited with bringing a real genuine understanding of that music and how it has influenced all music. Those three, Oscar Peterson, Glenn Gould, and Eubie Blake, are probably 3 of them. And there's lots of others. Vladimir Horowitz, I saw him. Chick Corea. So. Interesting.
Well, where did you study your music at? What institutions?
Institutions. There was this crazy house over on 45th and 9th. I actually went to, obviously, church was, obviously, I grew up in Baptist church, so that was, again, like for a lot of people, a great influence, it really allowed me to learn hymns and be attached to a part of music that is very traditional, in the Baptist church. So, and just the church repertoire in general, the group singing that, and playing that a lot. And then in school, I went to a junior high school. It was called Arturo Toscanini Junior High School. That was very musical junior high school. And I went from there to LaGuardia High School of Performing Arts. Actually, when I went there, that school currently now is on 66th Street, Lincoln Center. But when I went there, there was 2 separate campuses, music and art, and then there's performing arts. So I went to the music and art school on 135th Street and Convent Avenue in New York City. And from there, I went to the Juilliard Conservatory. I went to a music conservatory and studied composition, voice, primarily. We do oratorios and operas and all that sort of thing. My favorite oratorio is Elijah by Mendelssohn. And then from there, I went to graduate school in a place called Waltham, Massachusetts. It's Brandeis University. It's a small Jewish school, actually. It's a Jewish university in Waltham, Massachusetts. That's where I did graduate studies there. So. And that was actually, I was in the military in between that. So from conservatory, I went to the military so that I could pay for that small church in Waltham, Massachusetts.
So how do those institutions affect the way you approach music today?
I mean, I think learning is about school, and learning is also about life, and so certainly those schools gave me a broad understanding of music from a historical perspective, and I think more than just musical knowledge and theory and all those sorts of things. Music is a very intricate yet very simple thing in the Western culture. But I think more than those things, what I learned anyway from some of those institutions, is just the respect for the history of music, as we engage it, through our system of scales and our Pythagorean mathematical system of, the 12 tones that we use and like that. And so it really allows you to understand what, engaging the history of whatever art form, whatever you do, for that matter, anything. I'm a person that loves history, and so, anything that I would do, I want to know the history as far back about it as I could. And so music is no different, and that's what I think I gained from those institutions, is a historical understanding of music and a knowledge of, how that evolution and that process, has come to this place, as far as, again, our culture.
Out of all the musical fields, what's the best you go into?
Of all the musical fields, the best. I think the best to go into is the one you love, the one that you're most passionate about, whatever. So I think if you grew up in church and gospel music is like, that's at the heart of what you do, and your vocal style or your playing style, whatever it is, suits it. And I think, being director of music, minister of music at a church, if you grew up, more performance classical, this classical virtuosity, something I thought that I was going to actually do, for a number of years, but that can be very arduous and very lonely. But again, if it's what your passion is, then I think you should engage that. There's so many, band director, there's teaching, which is something that any true and great artist wants to do, is to always teach. That should be a part of the gift of music, passing it on, that sort of thing. So there's the sound aspect of it. I know a lot of great, incredible, genius musicians that are sound engineers as well, because they just have an incredible sense of tone and tonality, and they can hear things, in the sound that are going to affect the music, in a positive way. So, that's another area. People that write soundtracks, John Williams, someone that probably the bulk of his career rests on, the soundtracks that he's written, the scores, soundtracks. So, there's a lot in there, but the main thing is that it's what you love and what you're passionate about. Something you're going to enjoy doing. That's that answer to that. Here we go now.
Good, thank you very much.
Oh, that's it? Oh, awesome. One other thing.